I don't know what your particular feeling is regarding the Second Amendment, but I can tell you right now, it is a constitutional protection. It is thought of very highly by the drafters of the Constitution. Right after the first, it's right on their top of mind awareness. And we can debate all day long as to what the Constitution says. You can read it. In fact, it's a wonderful read, probably some of the strangest language that I've ever said. And by the way, it doesn't help you to read the Constitution. We're talking about the Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments is really what we're talking about. And here we go. A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Well, I don't know about you, but could we make that a little bit more, shall we say, obscure? We don't know, and they're still arguing, and I believe the case of Heller against D.C. Heller is the case which says specifically you have the right to possess weapons for self-defense purposes, not merely in order to engage in some form of militia practice or something. It doesn't work like that. You have the right. But what they're doing right now with red flag laws, or they have this idea that somehow this is different because we're not taking away your rights. We're not taking them. But if you are exhibiting some form of mental health problems, and maybe we'll be able to watch you. In fact, the establishment of a government authority to remove firearms and handguns or prohibit purchases based on some kind of an assessment by medical professionals and shrinks and the like, family members, law enforcement. This could raise and does raise significant Second Amendment concerns. Very, very serious ones. And Thomas Massie, who is a representative out of Kentucky, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and others have voiced very serious apprehensions and concerns about the formation of what they believe is what they call a federal red flag center. And this is very serious. Now, Massie recently, and I'll put this up, expressed his concerns most vividly. What the hell is this evil, he says? A federal red flag center? We didn't authorize this, he noted, pointing out the timing right after this significant government spending. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene criticized this insanity and initiative directly by, quote, she says, quote, Merrick Garland just announced a massive red flag operation to violate America's Second Amendment rights, linking it and connecting it to broader issues within the Department of Justice. Now, the criticisms that are emerging and what I want you to be aware of deal with broader debates, especially notable following a recent judicial decision affecting firearm rights for undocumented immigrants, prompting speculations by many people about the application of these red flag laws and whether they will target responsible citizens instead of addressing potential threats effectively. You watch what these people do. They might say, and there's talk of them suggesting that illegals should possess a gun. Now, let me explain something to you. This is important. When you read the Second Amendment, when you read constitutional provisions, sometimes they refer to persons. They don't say citizens. You know, the Eighth Amendment prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment and due process consideration. This isn't for citizens. It's persons. You're here in this country. Now, what concerns me is that it's not so much what this has to do with guns. That's not it. What concerns me is how they are using the end around of the so to speak, of mental health considerations to qualify constitutional rights, to abridge, to limit, to truncate significantly rights. What next? How about your First Amendment rights? How about this? Jerry's been acting a little strange, and we're not going to be taking away his rights, but his family members have been coming forth, and frankly, we're concerned. So for the time being, we're going to put him under some kind of a First Amendment probationary period until he can be later assessed to determine that he is not going to be spewing vile hate and disruptive ideas and all of this kind of stuff, because we don't want him to do that. God forbid. Oh no. We don't want him to be spewing hate and racism and misinformation and anti-vax lunacy or anti-Semitic tropes or God knows what. You see where this is going? That's what you have to concern yourself with. That's what you have to worry about. Not necessarily the idea of guns per se, but how that is being used as an exemplar, as a trial balloon, so to speak, as a beta test to see how many other situations, how many other horrors, how many other cases, how many other rights and privileges, but how many freedoms can be abridged by pointing to something, by saying, we're going to be doing this temporarily. After all, we did it with guns. We did it with red flags. What about speech? In fact, they could argue that what you say is far more dangerous than what you could theoretically shoot, because what you say could mislead people and during times of contagion or times of blah, 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 blah. Do you see this? So pay close attention. Don't think to yourself, wow, this is just one of these, I don't know, these gun things. I'm not much of a gun person. No. This is not a gun thing. This is a Constitution thing. Please subscribe to my channel, dear friends, and please, more than anything else, I invite you to comment as you see fit.